Hello everyone, the Crime Life channel is with you. This is far from uncommon in the United States. 11-year-old Linda O'Keefe was walking home from school, but her parents never saw her alive. The case was considered the most complicated in California, and for 45 years no one knew who the perpetrator was. A strange tweet. The disclosure of the case began with a strange tweet that appeared in 2018. "Hi, I'm Linda. I'm 11 years old. I passed away 45 years ago, and I want to know what happened to me." In fact, the ghosts had nothing to do with it. The tweet was posted by Newport Beach Police Department Sergeant Court Depweg. That year, it was exactly 45 years since the murder of a schoolgirl, which was never solved. The Guardian of Order wanted this case to move from the category of hanging, at least, to actively investigated. In total, 68 tweets were posted on behalf of Linda. The public stirred and the investigation was resumed. What happened to Linda O'Keefe? Linda grew up in a full family. Her father Richard was a machinist. Her mother Barbara worked as a seamstress, taking orders at home. There were 3 children in the family. Linda was the middle sister. The girl, according to the stories of her relatives, was very impressionable and creative, was fond of music and drawing, and also tried to see only the good in everything, including people. O'Keefe was one of the Girl Scouts and enjoyed spending the summer at scout camp. Usually the girl rode a bicycle to school, but on that day, on July 6, 1973, when everything happened, Linda was given a ride to the educational institution by a teacher who studied music and piano with her. So O'Keefe found herself in a strange situation because she could only return home if her parents met her by car or on foot. Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Linda called her mom at home and asked her to pick her up from school. However, the parent, referring to a bunch of cases, refused. In addition, it was not far to walk from school to home, only 2 kilometers. It would only take the girl about 30 minutes. However, half an hour later, Linda did not return home. And it was only 2 hours later that the mother became worried. But she thought her daughter was just hanging out with her friends on the way. Linda's family. At 6 in the evening, it became clear that something was wrong. The child's mother began calling Linda's friends. However, no one knew where the girl was going. The father returned from work and went to look for the child in the car. And when it got dark, the parents went to the police. Mom with Linda and younger sister. All night, the guards searched for the schoolgirl, using service dogs and helicopters in the air. Volunteers also helped in the search, but all attempts were unsuccessful. The crime scene. A father and son found a schoolgirl in a ditch with water. Linda was wearing a dress made by her mother, and there was a book bag next to it. The police determined that the girl's death was caused by strangulation. An investigation immediately began, but all the detectives found were traces of some tires near the crime scene. One of the witnesses, on the left, witnesses, Linda's friend and neighbors, unanimously assured that they saw a schoolgirl that day. They say that a certain turquoise van caught up with a girl who was walking home, and it seems that she was talking about something with the driver, who was just standing at the passenger door. And then O'Keefe got into the car, so people assumed that Linda knew this man. Portrait of a criminal witnesses helped to draw a portrait of the perpetrator. A white man, aged 24-30 years, curly hair, blonde, oval face, elongated. But alas, no one remembered the number of the van, as well as its make. The orientation sent out across the state did not bring any effect. And then another witness appeared, a woman who lived near the place where the girl was found. She heard the screams of a child who asked her to stop everything because it hurt. And then everything abruptly stopped. A man who looked very much like the alleged criminal was once seen by a local artist. The blonde, curly-haired man looked very worried. The case was just taking place near the crime scene. The painter was painting from nature, and then the guards arrived. The man was watching the actions of the police from the bushes, so the artist asked what was actually going on. It turned out that they had found the corpse of a schoolgirl, but both were far from the same place. However, the painter found the man suspicious, so he told the detectives about that meeting, but even this did not help to catch the attacker. Biomaterial to help criminologists, of course, collected all the biomaterial of the criminal from Linda's body. But without DNA analysis, which was not carried out at that time, it was impossible to identify the killer. But alas, there were no matches in any of the bases, the police, and even the FBI. Linda's classmates, who participated in the search for the girl in 1973. This means that the criminal was either not caught anymore, or he was arrested until the DNA database was collected. However, the forensics did not stand still, so the police still managed to identify the killer. In 2018, the guards turned to the company Parabon Nanolabs, where they create the most accurate photo portrait of a person based on a DNA test. Experts took pictures of the criminal in his 20s and in his 60s. They matched the descriptions of the witnesses 45 years ago. It was then that the police decided to post tweets on behalf of the deceased Linda. One of the messages had a picture of the perpetrator. The guards hoped that the public would help find the mysterious killer, especially since more than 7 million people watched tweets on behalf of Linda. But it was not possible to quickly identify this man. Then the police again turned to the experts of the Parabon Nanolabs company to create portraits of the next of kin of the criminal. So they came out to the second cousin of Linda's killer, and a little later they found him himself. Moreover, the man was betrayed by curiosity. He himself somehow uploaded his DNA into the database of the Family Tree website in order to find his relatives. The killer turned out to be James Neal, and he was responsible for many thefts and robberies. But for some reason, the man always got off with minimal deadlines. In the period between his sentences, he managed to get married twice. It turned out that the attacker had 3 children. Neal lived in the 70s, just 60 kilometers from the O'Keefe family. The police needed to retake DNA from Neal to get evidence that he was involved in Linda's murder. But how can this be done without arousing suspicion? The guards asked the janitors to bring the man's trash, but it didn't help. And only chance decided the fate of the Neely. One day, James was smoking in the car and threw away his cigarette butt. The policeman who was following the man picked him up and took him for examination. Repeated DNA analysis helped to find out that it was Neal who killed 11-year-old Linda in 1973. When arrested, the man denied everything, but the police collected all the evidence, including the testimony of the girls who managed to escape from the clutches of the criminal. Neal's trial was supposed to begin in 2020, but the pandemic has confused all plans. James was admitted to the hospital where he died of lung cancer. Linda's parents did not live to see this day, but the sisters of the murdered girl were immensely grateful to the guards that they still solved this case. They were the ones who said that their mother blamed herself for her daughter's death until the end of her days. After all, if she had picked her up at school that fateful day,